Welcome back to our Spring into Tech Tuesday series. Thank y'all so much for joining me. This is the last one in our series, and today we're talking about sliding into success with interactive slides. So in the chat, I posted the sign-in link. If you did not get it, I'm going to go ahead and repost it right now, so that is available to you. I also will repost the presentation link. And the presentation link is what has all the templates that I'm going to be speaking about. That's what has it in there. So we'll go ahead and get started. So once again, I'm your district EdTech coordinator. I am Lakeisha Pound-Smith, and I am here to help you integrate technology into your classroom. And our goal or focus for today is really creating interactive learning opportunities for our students. And so what I'm going to do in order to help you with that is to make sure that you have materials when you leave this session available to you, and at least some sort of general idea of how to get started with creating those interactive slides. So let's go ahead and start off with an example. So as I go through these slides that you're about to see, you're going to also notice that there are some interactive components that have been added in, and I'll point those out as I go through the slide. All right, so this first slide basically outlines what we're going to cover today, right? So first of all, what is it? Like, what are interactive slides? And then what are some examples? And then here's templates galore. So as many templates as you would like to have in your whole entire life, maybe even more than you needed, but at least something to get you started with it, okay? So you can see already, and if you didn't notice, there's some interactive components that are set up in this slide alone, right? So this is just a Google slide, right? And I've made it interactive by having things like the ability to actually click on each one of these buttons or areas. So you can actually click on number one, what is it? And you can navigate to it. Now, what makes it even more interactive is the ability to, of course, move forward in the slide, but also the ability to go back to that home screen. So simple things like that can allow your students to be able to interact with their slides and with the presentations that you're providing with them even a little bit more. So that's one of the ways that you can add some interaction. So now we'll continue to what is it? So basically, an interactive presentation is the means used to combine and bundle multiple types of interactive content all into one place. To present to your audience, which are your students, of course. And this can be done in multiple ways, right? And mostly it is linking, hyperlinks, hotspots, things of that sort. Anything that kind of causes the user to navigate through what you're presenting to them can make your slides interactive. So it's basically going beyond just having slides where you read information and you're just going next slide, next slide, next slide, but it's actually having even some I want to say choose your own adventure type moments, right? So let's say, for instance, I'll go ahead and click on the home button. I already know what interactive slides are, right? So as a student looking at this presentation, I might skip that altogether. I just want to see my teacher's examples, and then I want to see what templates I'm going to start off with. So that gives the students the ability to actually have choice in where they start in the lesson versus making them go all the way through everything every single time, just because sometimes we just assume like you know nothing, right? But some students do actually know the background information. And the good thing is, if I do get to examples, for instance, and I'm looking at examples and I'm like, you know what, what are we doing again? What was the objective? What was the point of what I was looking at? I could always navigate back to the home screen and then go back to what is it? Like, oh, I probably should have read this because my teacher put it in here intentionally so that I could learn about the concept before I see examples about it. So all of this is just the basis of how you make something interactive. Now, I chose to just link buttons. That's literally, this is just a picture of a little home that I found. And then I linked it back to the home page or the home slide. Same thing with this arrow. It's just an arrow that I inserted, and then you can right click and tell it where do you want it to link to. You can also do this with different hyperlinks. So for instance, if I wanted this to go to an outside website or something of that sort, I could have it do that as well, to where instead of pulling up right here, maybe it pulls up a separate website that describes to you what interactive slides are. So I could have done that as well. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and move on to what you really came here for, which are what are some examples and where are these free that you promised me. So let's go ahead and move on to examples. So one of the first examples I want to show you is this TVPD one. So this is one that I developed, I think when I first started here at Jubilee. And it is interactive for the same reasons that I just gave you. There's a lot of like ability to navigate to different items. You can choose your own kind of path depending on what you need concerning your learning in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. Right. And you'll see that it opens right up. One of the components that makes this interactive, you would think it would just be the fact that the elevator is cool and it's all moving. This is just a GIF, y'all. Like it's a GIF, or some people call it GIF, that literally just keeps running and makes it like opening and closing. It's a simple component, and yet it just makes us slide like, ooh, like I can go into the elevator, right? So, and then it literally says click the elevator to start. So already I've made it interactive by giving it an element or the illusion as if I'm going into a place. I'm going to another level, right? And then it also levels up, right? So not only am I going to another place, I have entered the elevator, right? And now there are levels for me to choose from. So this goes back to the same concept that I was talking about earlier, right? Giving your students the ability to kind of navigate their learning, right? So this particular slides that I built out, it starts off with just the basics, right? So what are the different parts of the the importance of knowing your type of TV, logging into your TV, PC, etc. Right? So if you're already very familiar with that, you may just want to skip on to like, okay, what is on my TV? Maybe I didn't know exactly what was on my TV. Maybe you're way beyond that. Maybe you're on a level 3, right? Which is tells you about how the TV is not just a projector, right? The cool thing is each one of these are clickable, right? But we're in an elevator, so it's not going to click right here. And I've made sure, if you ever want to know how did I do this, where I made, because you know students are just like us, right? We're like level 1, right? I'm clicking, I can't go anywhere, right? No, you have to, you're in an elevator, so you have to click the buttons. So basically all I did was insert an image box, transparent image box over this section so that the students, meaning you, because y'all are my students in this case, cannot click on any of these areas, but instead they have to go to the buttons. So I'm just going to select level 6. Let's say I want to know what the magic is on my TV. So I click on level 6 and it's directed me to another area. And you can see that I had the little doors open effect happen there. And then there's some more gifts and stuff because I'm just a little extra like that. And if you are extra like that too, by all means, you can always add in that movement for your students. They appreciate it. Once again, there's a simple image and then they have to click here to start. I can click here to continue. I can also, which starts the video. I can also end this level and go straight to my quiz if I need to, because you have some people who are like that, right? You have some students who are like that. They're like, I already know this. I reviewed this at home. I learned this at another school. I already know what I'm doing. I think that I could take the quiz, right? So you can always give them that option. So I'm going to skip forward to the choose your own path kind of situation. So this one says, click each button to learn more about each, right? So each of these tools, you're going to click each button to learn more about it. And then always there's an overview of all the buttons as well. So one thing your students can do is like maybe they are familiar with this particular tool or this particular button, right? But they're like, you know what? I'm not so sure. I don't remember math tools. They'll have the ability to click on it. They can actually, embedding a video is extremely helpful, even if it's you explaining that particular concept on whatever it is. Even if it's you explaining it, it is extremely helpful for you to embed a video of some sort. So that way they have something to refer to and not just words, right? So images and videos, media, giving them media in these interactive files, it really makes a world of difference. So for instance, I have my video right here, I have my brief description right here, and then I have a picture of what that student would be looking at if this was their actual like lesson, right? Once again, this was geared towards teachers, so y'all would be the students in this case. And so this is hopefully led many teachers to know like, oh, this is actually in my ViewSonic TV. And if I go to my ViewSonic and I go to Magic Box Tools, boom, it's right there. It's right there. All right. And then, of course, you have the ability to click and continue, or I can return to the tools and explore more. Okay. So you see how the interaction, like I can go kind of where I want to, that choose your own path kind of thing. Or you can even say, hey, in order to be successful in this particular assignment, you need to make sure you click on each part. And I know how some teachers are, right? And how we are, right? I was very like paper-based for a little while, but you can always still incorporate paper, right? You can have them write about each section that they have clicked on, and it doesn't have to be online, right? You can have them have their journal next to this as they navigate to the different sections. And then that way they can write a summary of what they learned under each. These are called hotspots kind of thing, okay? So that's one way that or one example of interactive slides. All right, so here's another example. This is short and long vowel sounds. This one is maybe what the students are more used to in this day and age, especially with like IXL and CERN and things of that sort. What's cool about this, and this is available to you. You can always just come up here, file, and then make a copy on your end so that you can have it for your students. For this one, it starts off, it gives the students directions, but so what's really cool is that a voice is also embedded. So when I hover over it or click on it, I have the ability to click play right here. So I'm not sure if y'all can actually hear that because the way that I'm presenting right now, but it actually plays the directions for the students. So it's giving them that backup, that support that they need in order to move forward with the directions. That is such a simple part to add in, right? I think as teachers, we create so much, right? That we're thinking like, oh, it's going to take me forever to create a voice note, but it really doesn't. It really doesn't. And it doesn't take that long to insert things. Literally, you can come over here and go to insert, and there's many different things. Look at all the things that you can add in to help your students out. Here's the audio component. And then if you have the audio with you already, you can go ahead and add it in. If you want more details about how to add in like voice notes, media, and things of that sort, once again, just schedule a meeting with me. And then I can definitely help you out with that part. But I just wanted to show you briefly that this can make interaction so simple, okay? The next slide, it gets even better, y'all. So each of these components, now this does take a little bit of front loading, but once you have this built out, this template built out, which you don't even have to build it because I'm giving it to you. But once you have it built out to what you want it to look like, it's simple. You can use it like year after year. I would definitely make sure that you're using it on a scale that the students always have to learn each year, just for your sake, because it makes it easier on your end, right? You don't want to really use it with content that changes dynamically a lot. And that's because you're embedding voice notes, images with more voice notes, and it can become a little tedious if you're having to do this multiple times a school year, right? So you want to make sure like you're strategically incorporating this interactive pieces, okay? So once again, the student has the ability to come over here and click play, it will read it to them. But here's also the other interactive component. The students can drag and drop. So I can listen to, let's say, Apple, Apple. If I'm not sure as the student, I can come over here and I can click, I can listen to it, and I can see based upon how it was read, do I think it's a long A word or a short A word? And I can go ahead and drag it to where I want it to be. And I'm like, you know what? I think it's a long A word. So I'll just go ahead and move it down, right? And so your students have the ability to move these components on this page. So that makes it interactive too. The only thing about this, honestly, y'all, is that these are just simple images. These are images found on the internet. These are literally just clip art put into a slide, and literally just giving the students the ability to drag this over here makes it interactive. Okay. Another thing that may trip up some people is, well, how did she drag the apple along with the symbol? So what you'll have to do in order to do that, you'll have to select both components. You will right click or two finger click, and you'll need to make sure, I'm going to click ungroup for the sake of this, but you will come and click group so that when the students move it, the sound comes along with the image. If you ungroup it, only the image will move, and then the students might get confused if they put it back, because then they'll just have little sound cues everywhere. So I encourage you to make sure that you keep it grouped if you're going to embed the voice note along with the image. Okay, and this continues on. This one's once again has the voice note to help the students navigate through this. They're going to add their own images this time, and it walks them through how to add their images. I'll scroll down to here. Here's another drag and drop opportunity, and it just continues on and on. Okay. So that's another example of interactive slides. Another one is, here we go, these custom interactive slides. It's got the same kind of components, right, of the drag and drop. This is, once again, it's just a simple image. It's a 4, and this would be for our lower audiences, right? And then they would need to match the number with the actual word 4, and they would drag and drop. You can do the same thing with something like animals, or if you're doing animal classes, right? Classes of animals, you can do the same thing. Like, I'm just going to be silly and put a duck over here with the fish. I think that's a fish. And then you, as the teacher, of course, you would assign this through Google Classroom so that you're able to see their progress when they complete it. And you could be like, well, I'm not quite sure, how's a duck a fish? And then have that conversation with those students, right? Or hopefully just that one student. You can do the same thing with poetry. As a former English teacher, I love this, and I wish I would have thought of it, but I did not think of it. But now I know better, okay? So for this one, you can put the poem together using the lines below. You can also do this in a fun way where it's just random words, and based upon the random words, they put together a poem of sorts. But this can actually teach, the way that this one is set up, it's teaching like rhyming skills and things of that sort. So it's supposed to go in actual order, and it's the same process. They can move it over so that they can fill out the poem. And then I'll just go ahead and move it back. You can also create your own fill in the blank situation. So here's a word bank that was created. This is literally just a box. It's just a box. And then the words were added in using the word art feature, and then you can just drag the words over. You can also create your words depending on how you want them to look. You can create them just using regular text boxes and have them drag the text box over. That works as well. Here's a fun activity, so it doesn't always have to be so strenuous, right? It's a build your own snowman. I've been into many classrooms that, it's like the last 15 minutes before a break. or something of that sort, and they're trying to think of something fun to do. Well, this would be something fun to do that includes technology, right? And still involves learning technology components, because they're still learning how to drag and drop, maybe how to even insert their own accessories for the snowman and things of that sort. So they can actually drag this over and start dressing the snowman. This is also an opportunity to teach the students how to bring things to the front. So if they slide something over and it ends up behind the snowman, that's a teaching opportunity to teach them how to navigate that, and how to actually, how do I bring an image to the front so that it's sitting on top of the snowman? Okay. I just want to make sure I undo these so I don't mess up those templates. And then with this one, it's a little bit more complicated, but it is basically, it's shading. So it says color the even numbers orange, color the odd numbers blue. So in order to do that, they would simply come over here and click on the number, go to the painting tool or the paint bucket, and then they would fill it in. The bad part is if I do it that way solely, it does fill in the number. Now there is another way that I could do it. So I'll show you that real quick. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to insert a shape, and I'm going to do circle. I won't make it too big. And I can bring the circle over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose blue again. I'm going to come back to my paint bucket. And this is something on the teacher end that you can bring in so that the students don't have to create it themselves, or you could teach them how to create this. So I'm going to go and click the plus sign for custom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this second little bar to make it more transparent. So now when I click OK, you can see through. I have my 24, which I have highlighted or colored, but it's still visible. Okay, so that would be something I suggest adding into if you're doing something like a fill the number, something like that. Unless you're doing like a color by number, unless you're you're that creative and you've somehow created a color by number on a Google Slides, by all means, it will make sense when the image is complete. But for something like this, they still need to be able to see the actual numbers. So that would be my suggestion, is go ahead and insert a shape, and then just make the shape transparent so that way they can highlight the number. That will move on to the last example. So Canva is amazing, right? And it can be used for a lot of different things, but one of the main things that our teachers use it for is, of course, presentations. So this walks you through what is a Canva presentation, how do you log in with your account, and then it will actually walk you through Canva. And then the main thing I wanted to show you is its ability to you can actually utilize magic shortcuts to make your presentations while you are presenting. You can make them interactive as well. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the example. And let me go ahead and put this into presentation mode. So now that I'm in presentation mode, while I'm in presentation mode, let's say the first thing I want to do is call the students to attention. So, and I don't want them getting too excited about all the graphics and things on the screen. So I can actually, while I'm in presentation mode, I can hit B and it will blur the screen. That's literally with me just hitting B on my keyboard. I hit B again and it unblurs it. So once again, hey students, let's focus. Go ahead and get your journals out. We're going to start with the do now. If you have those like early starters and things like that, this would be a thing, like just kind of blur it out for them because they're not starting with the rest of the class, and then maybe they're causing trouble during the rest of the 5 minute of the do now. So this might be a solution for that kind of thing. So B does that, and then C. Actually, let me go ahead and start another way that you might want to start off your lesson is with the curtain. So if you click U, it will actually bring in a red curtain so that the slide is still covered up. And then once you start class, of course, because all of our classes are amazing and we want to make them a grand entrance, right? You say, today we're talking about Romeo and right? And then the students will roll their eyes at you for being so dramatic, but it's okay. It's okay. It'll be fine. They'll get over it, I promise. But at least it will make you extremely happy. And in my mind, it will make you extremely happy that you started off so dramatically. So another quick interactive thing is if you click C, there's confetti. So let's say this could be your version of snaps for claps, that kind of thing. Instead, it's let's go ahead and give them some confetti. Great answer. Great participation, guys. And you can just click C. Okay. Another thing you can do, maybe if someone's getting ready to give an answer, is click D. D gives you a drum roll, and then they have to answer after the drum roll, that kind of thing. Let's say you get an amazing answer in class, amazing answer, or maybe you said something amazing that astonished the kids and wowed your audience, right? Then you would click M and you can drop the mic. Drop the mic. Y'all are amazed. End of class. Even though we have 30 minutes left, end of class, because y'all are amazed. You have learned everything you need to learn in 5 minutes. Okay. So you could do that as well. And then this one's pretty cool. Not quite sure how you would use it, except for maybe it's an incentive for like the little ones. You can press O for floating bubbles. Maybe they just want to see bubbles. I'm not sure. And then this is an attention getter. You can click Q for quiet. Quiet. Let's remind you, we're at level 1, guys. Level 1. Okay. So those are all different interactive components. Another thing that I want to bring up is that you can also click any number from 1 through 9, and it will give you a timer automatically. So let's say, hey guys, we have 5 minutes. You've already done your amazing curtain opening, right? You're like, hey guys, we have 5 minutes for the opening, for the do now. Let's go ahead and get started now. I'm going to press the number 5 on my keyboard, and I have a timer right here. And then all I have to do is click play, and the timer is going for the students already. To get rid of that same timer, I can pause it, or I could just click the 5 and it will go away. So just like that. So all of these things are available to you. I actually listed them here in this last example. So let me go ahead and share this tab instead. So all of the ones I just went through are listed here for you, but they are also built into the program. So if you come down here, you'll notice that, let's see, there's some different things that you can do. You can draw on your page, and then right here where the little keyboard is, you will click that one to see the shortcuts. The only thing is it does overlay on top of your presentation, like while you're presenting, so the students can see all of your little magic about to happen, right? They can see it. So it would be best to like kind of print it out and have it on the side so they never know, you know, what's really coming their way. But that's another way to access those commands. All right, so once again, as I mentioned before, Canva is an amazing way to add interactiveness to your presentation. So this would be one of the ways, right, to have your topics listed and then have them actually where the students can click on them and navigate to the different places. So similar aspect, it just makes the design component of presentations even more easy, right? So it kind of reminds me of like PowerPoint on steroids, that kind of thing. I know some teachers have given feedback like Google Slides, it doesn't have like all the animation and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Canva does and more. So that would be your workaround for us being a Google district, right? Is to utilize Canva presentations instead. All right, so now that I've gone through all those examples, Here's the moment that you all have been waiting for, right? Here's even more templates that you can use. You can take them, you can build them on your own. So, sorry. I have started off by giving you some game templates and then also some choice boards because we love a good choice board, especially it's about to be testing time. So choice boards are good during this time. It helps with review. It helps with having your students learn even a new concept as well, but they kind of get to learn it maybe at their own pace. I also have the whiteboard, so I'm going to show y'all a few of these because this is the one that people don't really know the most about in Canva. So I'll go over that. And then here's just purely interactive different slides. So you can navigate to each of these sites and you have the ability to have access to, I don't know if it's hundreds, but many, 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 many templates are available to you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one first. And this is the Canva whiteboard feature. It is similar to like a drag and drop kind of situation. I simply click on it, and what I can do is customize this template. And then you can share out this whiteboard with your students, and they can actually fill in. Now, of course, I don't know if you would have them doing sales processes, maybe in one of the CTE classes, but you can do this with anything, right? And if you share it with your students from Canva, they have the ability to actually come in here. They can add in answers. They can work together. They can collaborate in a whiteboard setting. So this reminds me of, I can't think of the name right now, like Fig Jam, things of that sort. There's one that also got discontinued. This would be the kind of replacement for that, right? So Canva whiteboards would be the replacement for that, and the free version of Fig Jam that's available to us. So lots of features. The only thing is you would have to teach your students like what tools to navigate, like here's draw, here's shapes, here's lines. You would have to just teach them the different components that are available to them. So then another one, we'll go ahead and look at some games. So this, I've actually used this one right here, the Can You Guess Who character. They didn't call it Can You Guess Who, but that's definitely what it's modeled after. So you could use this for maybe even like character, like remembering characters, remembering historical figures, things of that sort, where you're giving them the image, or maybe you're just giving them the name. And then on the back, it's like all the information about them, like their date, when they were born, or when they made a significant contribution to society, things of that sort. So can you guess the character? This one's new. This look of the Irish one. They have categories. That was difficult to say. Categories. That one's available. And then this one is really cool. The board game versions of just having the students go through a board game and letting the components be interactive. And you can include, the good thing about these templates is that you can include whatever information you want, right? This could be math facts, this could be multiplication tables, and they can work their way through the board game based upon whatever information you're asking them to recall or go through or learn. So you can see they have just a bunch of different ones. They even have the deal or no deal. And then here are some more games. So this one has a retro video game design. And to preview these on this particular site, just go like this. So this is more of themes. They might like this little theme right here. But still the same concept. You can still add those interactive components so that they are able to interact with the slides. Now, some of these are the premium version, so just keep that in mind when you're on this particular site. But also, if you see something that you like, it's not terribly difficult to create or recreate some of these concepts. So like, for instance, the science playbook one, maybe I want to recreate that. All I would have to do is get the components that I would like and then make sure I add them into a slide. And then we'll take a look at one of the choice boards that are available. So I actually utilized this one right here. And of course, we have a lovely ad. There we go. This is one of the choice boards that I use, and it has basically those clickable components again. So once you're in here, you have to go ahead and download it. It's somewhere listed down here because they want you to be complicated and to come way down here to open it. And so then it's download PowerPoint. We don't have that. So we're going to open in Google Slides. Once I do this, I click use template, and then it becomes mine. There we go. And then you can see all the different interactive components. And you can see even here, they have a space filler for a video. They're suggesting that you insert a video, a voice note, and you have those components already here for you. All right. And then I'll just click on one of these purely interactive ones, just so we can get a sense of that. So this one's nice, the family tree one. That's always been a project that comes up at some point in time in a student's life, right? So they have the ability to build their family tree digitally. There's this one where it navigates and talks about bees, but you can always, switch out whatever it is the subject is about. Another interactive choice board. This one's pretty cool, the art gallery. And you can make it doesn't necessarily have to be an art gallery, right? It could be a science gallery. It could be historical figures. I don't know. It could be whatever you want it to be. But basically, whatever you're thinking of, you do have the templates available to you now. And not only did I give you this page, but I also gave you more. So there's more templates available to you. Thank y'all once again for joining me for Tech Tuesday. I hope that this series or these series were beneficial to you. And if you need help with incorporating any of this into your classroom, I'm always available. If you have any questions whatsoever, I'm here for you. Thank y'all.